Hi, I'm Sandra Mazzilli, founder of Inner Action Counselling, and this is a walkthrough video of the Suicide Safety Plan freely available to download from my website, www.inneractioncounselling.co.uk. We love a walkthrough, don't we? It's up there with unboxing stuff. And it's relating to a freebie. Who doesn't love a freebie? So I'm going to talk about accessibility of the plan, barriers to using the plan, and walking through the plan itself and how to fill it in. So a heads up, this is a long video. It's available in PDF and Word. So the PDF file is legible with a screen reader. In order to put it through a braille display and or emboss it, download the Word file, take out the underscores, and you're good to go. Magnification is straightforward in Word from what I've heard. Don't ask me how to do it in PDF. If you need another plain text format like RTF, reach out to me, hello@interactioncounselling.co.uk, and I'll send you the plain text version myself. WordPress does not like other formats. That's why it's in PDF and Word. So the plan I've written is based on the Suicide Prevention Resource Centre, www.sprc.org. You might want to look at theirs for comparison if you'd like to. You don't have to. There are lots of suicide safety plans available on the internet. Mine is based on my experience with clients who are facing suicidal thoughts and clients who've been bereaved by suicide. I know it seems long, it's 4 pages in the PDF, but if you were to take out all the blank lines, which are left in there for formatting and so it looks nice visually, it would really be 2 pages. Before we dive into the plan itself, a few more barriers. First of all, don't beat yourself up for needing to use a resource like this. You don't see people berating themselves because they carry an inhaler because they're asthmatic. A necessary resource is a necessary resource. The plan is in 2 parts, guide and plan. When you're comfortable using the plan, you can safely tear the first page off that tells you how to use it and just stick with the plan itself. It's a skeleton at the moment, it's left blank, so you can fill in the resources that work for you. When you have a fully functioning plan, I like to think you can keep a hard copy of it and just keep it somewhere that's easily accessible to read it. Whether that's on a wall or in a drawer or by the bed. If you're a Braille user like me, you'd probably keep it in a folder that's in easy reach somewhere. So the plan itself, it's in 6 categories: warning signs, mood, people, professionals, places, crisis. I'll repeat that: warning signs, mood, people, professionals, places, crisis. Warning signs. Those are the thoughts and or feelings which lead to suicidal thoughts, feelings, behaviours. You might be thinking, well, that's rubbish. There aren't any warning signs. I feel okay. And then all of a sudden it feels like a switch has flicked and I feel all this conflict within myself or dangerous thoughts. That's not strictly true. There will be steps down that proverbial path. And if you're not aware of them, there might be people in your life who you know, like, and trust who are very aware of it. There may be changes in mood or energy or eating or not eating or dressing differently. I mean, I'm just riffing, but people who are close to you may notice things that you don't. It's very hard when you're in the thick of horrible thoughts and feelings to stand back and analyze yourself going, that's what's happening there, and that leads to that. Now, if you haven't got anyone to help you, or if the people you know don't know you as well as you like to think they do, then you can be your own observer in a longer term sort of way. So do a bit of journaling about your thoughts and feelings on a day-to-day basis so you can look back and see if there are any patterns which lead to horrible thoughts, feelings, behaviours. So this warning signs bit may fly off the page or onto the page. They may not. It may take a little bit more time. That's okay. You don't have to fill this in one go. Mood. And if I haven't said it earlier because I've lost track, it's 1 to 3 items in each category. So with the 6 categories, of the warning signs, mood, people, professionals, places, crisis, 1 to 3 items in each category. At least one, no more than 3. So coming back to warning signs, if you feel that there's lots and lots of them, then pick 3 key ones. So the ones that always lead to this, rather than I can come up with 10. Stick to 3, because when you're feeling overwhelmed by all this stuff, sometimes you can only take very limited information in. So even 3 will be a lot. If you're feeling well and 3 feels like nothing, take account of when you're not feeling quite so well. So we've tackled warning signs, mood. And this is subdivided into a few more aspects. So 1 to 3 activities to help restore calm if you're agitated. So if you're feeling like, and you feel like you need to calm down a bit, 1 to 3 activities in that area. 1 to 3 activities to help lift your mood. So if you're feeling like really like this and all slumped and well, what's the point? 1 to 3 things to help lift up. 1 to 3 activities to distract yourself with. So if you know that these thoughts and feelings are dangerous terrain, but you know they wear off and all you have to do is wait it out, while you wait, what's something to distract you while you're waiting? So in each area, try to include at least 2 you can do on your own, and maybe 1 with other people or other things involved. The least complicated they are, the more likely you'll do them and the easier it is to kind of reach for something to do. So reading a book or doing a bit of drawing is a little bit more immediate than going to the park. And it's also a bit of all weathers. You know, you've got to think about how these things manifest day or night. So the park might be outbounds at night, for example. So, people. 1 to 3 trusted people you can communicate with for support at a moment's notice, or a few minutes anyway. So it could be family members, social support, work colleague, or even a neighbour. And there's family who are relatives, but there's also the family we choose, like really close friends. So think outside the box if you need to. But somebody, at least somebody who you can contact day or night for support. Even if you just get a message back saying, can we talk about this in the morning? That's long enough to wait to then have a chat with them. Either by phone, text, email, in person, but somebody who you can reach out to do that. And don't get hung up on the numbers. If 1 person comes to mind and that's a solid, dependable person, that's worth more than 3 people who are in a sort of, I don't know, category. So the ideal is 3, but 1 amazing person is worth 3 kind of half measure. And it's important not to go down the rabbit hole of, oh, I don't want to burden them or bother them with my stuff or bring them down too. The amount of clients I have had over the last few years who have been bereaved by suicide, telling me that they didn't know their relative or friend was struggling, or they knew they were struggling, but they didn't know it was this bad, tormenting themselves with questions about what they could have done differently when we know there's nothing they could have done, or the call they wish they had received. Trust me, they'll want to hear from you. Even if they're going through something as well, that's another curveball your kind of thought circuits can throw at you. Oh, you don't want to bring stuff on them when they've got their own stuff. Don't cut yourself off. Don't let the horrible thoughts win. So 1 to 3 people in that category. Professionals, 1 to 3 professionals you can contact on demand. So I'm thinking GPs, they'll have an out-of-hours service, mental health crisis team, community psychiatric nurse, psychiatric services. There's a whole range. Only put a therapist in this department of your suicide safety plan if they offer on-demand crisis support. And that will differ from practitioner to practitioner. So I don't offer on-demand. So for example, if you write to me at 2 a.m, you probably won't get a reply till during the day. I don't offer therapy on tap. What I can do is respond to a crisis you're having by giving you a session earlier on in the week than we'd planned, either instead of or as well as. And we might decide, if I've got the space, to extend the session. So there's different things we can do. So coming back to ideas about the mental health crisis team, the NHS number will differ depending on which region of the country you live in. So look it up, do your research. For example, I live in Surrey, so the local team is part of Surrey and Borders, and the mental health crisis helpline is open 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. So you can call 111 and select the mental health option, or dial 0800 915 4644. And you might live in Southampton or you might live in Swansea. The trust will have a different name and the contact details will differ. So again, do your research. It took me seconds to find that information earlier on today. Places, again, 1 to 3. So 1 to 3 places you can go to be around people. If you feel that being on your own is a danger and you need people around you, pick somewhere you can go that's safe and that is open fairly regularly. I'm not sure how reliable it is to find somewhere that's open at any time, but there will be organizations that have safe havens. So again, in Surrey where I live, there are suicide safety drop-in cafes called havens. They are open out of hours. They specialize in the kind of evenings and weekend support. It doesn't have to be suicide specific drop-in. If you live near a hotel or a restaurant or even a hospital, there might be a kind of lobby area you can quote unquote loiter. Just somewhere busy so you don't feel alone with all this stuff. Another selection of places, 1 to 3 reset places. So somewhere where you know you can feel instant calm. For me, that's Lochramore. If you've been there, you'll know what I mean. You just stand there in front of the lake and it's like, yeah. It doesn't have to be green stuff or blue stuff. You might feel like that in the cinema, but somewhere that gives you a bit of a reset if you're feeling agitated and horrible and you need that change of scenery. 1 to 3 places where you can do that. So with the places aspect, you might feel that it's difficult to leave the house, but you still need to be with people. So you need to make up for that by getting virtual support. There are virtual places you can meet. There's lots of meetups in general, according to what you like doing or what you used to like doing. If you feel you're in depression and you don't feel like you like anything anymore, there might be things you used to like doing, so plug into that. And the havens I mentioned in Surrey also have virtual support. Crisis services, at least 2 contacts. I haven't limited this one, but again, don't overload yourself when you're not feeling terribly well. 3, I would say maximum 5 if you have to go to more than 3. So these are maybe fairly obvious, like emergency services. So that's 999, 112 here. Outside the UK, check the numbers. Samaritans, Shout or crisis text line, crisis services. So you can at least have one medical emergency service to reach out to, and at least one crisis helpline. Now, a note on reasons to live. I don't include reasons to live or gratitude elements. Some suicide safety plans do. I leave this out because this train of thought can lead to thought argument. This safety plan is all about survival in the moment. And the best way to do that is to stick to cold, hard facts. I'm recording a video. That's a fact. I'm doing that in broad daylight. That's a fact. I'm sitting in front of my computer. That is a fact. I can't argue with any of those things. I'm happy with how it's going. Or am I? I genuinely have no idea how good or bad it is until I play it back. It could be terrible. It could be great. And I can just keep going and just do some outtakes or whatever and just carry on. Or who am I kidding? Do you see how easy it is to get into this push-pull? And you don't want to do that when you are trying to survive. So that's why I've left it out. If you feel that I'm talking rubbish and that reasons to live and or gratitude list can act as an anchor point for you, be my guest. Add that section in. 1 to 3 reasons, as deep and meaningful or as trivial as you like. So some clients have told me how they have suicidal thoughts but they never do anything because they can't do that to their kids. Don't think that gets any deeper than that. Your reasons might be a bit more shallow than that. You know, MasterChef is about to start in a few weeks' time as I record this. And you might say, that's a really stupid. What reason to live is that? It might give you long enough to reach out for help. This is about survival so that you can get the assistance you need. It doesn't have to be sparkly. You just need a spark of some kind. Now, I focused on suicidal thoughts and feelings in this video. It can help with other issues like addiction or self-harm urges. I've said that before elsewhere, but aspects of this will need to be changed, like use of language. You might put a sponsor into one of the on-demand contacts, for instance. Categories may need to be altered, including key cravings, triggers. I'm acutely aware that rehab encourages the use of gratitude list as a key component in preventing lapse and relapse. Whatever you add, keep it to 1 to 3 items in each area. Finally, I'll just say it again. This suicide safety plan isn't necessarily filled in all at once. It's a living, breathing document. Warning signs may take time. Mood lifters may fly onto the page. Other triggers may be painfully obvious, while things to make you smile might be a bit thin on the ground and take time to come to mind. However you decide to go about this, remember, you don't have to fill it out in one sitting. You don't have to do this alone, and you don't have to put up with these symptoms, not if you don't want to. Suicidal thoughts, feelings, behaviours, or self-harm or addiction are usually symptoms of something else, or several somethings. I'll say it again. There is help available. Some helplines, especially crisis lines like Shout and the Samaritans, can help you fill in a safety plan. They won't tell you what to say, but they can ask you helpful, useful, nudging questions so that you can prompt yourself. If you've got a CPN, so community psychiatric nurse, or community district nurse, they can help you with this too. Clients working with me get help with the safety plan as a safety measure while we're working on coping skills, including stress tolerance, and focusing on the causes. So I hope whoever you're working with, if you're working with someone else, does something similar to help you move past the pain that's bringing these symptoms to light in the first place. So thanks for sticking with me through this walkthrough. I know it was a long one, but we got there in the end. Like and subscribe for more content like this. If you're thinking about working with me, you can drop me a line, hello@inneractioncounselling.co.uk. Till next time, take care and look after yourself. Bye for now.